Hey, it's Colleen.
Hi, it's Kate.
And it's Megan.
And we're the
Three Scheme Queens.
Each Tuesday, we take you on a deep dive into one of our favorite conspiracy theories.
If you have a sense of humor and an open mind, come take this journey with us.
We'll tell you what we think, and we'll try to prove it to you. Is this thing on? Hi. Good day. No, wait, that's Australian. Hi.
Let's welcome Colleen back from Scotland
Scotland.
and her deep dive into the...
Loch Ness Monster.
That's right. What have you been up to, Colleen?
I literally was in Scotland for 10 days, 9 nights. It was lovely. And I did go searching for the Loch Ness Monster. Did not find it. There's a reward if you do find it. I think it's like $4,000.
4,000?
Maybe.
That's not enough.
There's definitely a reward for it, but I can't remember what the amount was.
The rewards are anything from...
Was it 4,000?
25,000 to $1 million.
Anyways, 10%.
So is it time for our...
Drink check.
Drink check.
So we have finally answered the question.
Those Colleen like martinis.
Yes, Colleen has been adamant when we go out. She's like, I really just want to be a classy girl drinking a martini. And I was
And
like,
you know, guys,
well, I was like, I don't think, Colleen, you're going to like this. And then as we've talked about it, I've been like, I don't know, maybe she's going to prove me wrong. She
you
liked
underestimated
Olive,
my love for Olive.
She liked
yeah.
gin, but the verdict was...
I mean, I didn't hate it. I finished it. So, take that.
Yeah.
But I think I would have liked it maybe over ice. But I
with
want it
ice.
with ice, maybe.
It could not have
I
been
think I
colder.
just don't like drinking plain alcohol.
Yeah.
And
Well, and I told you that's pretty much what a martini
yeah,
is.
but it wasn't bad.
No, and we added some bitters, and you said it definitely
It
was...
tasted better with bitters, yeah. And I had 6 olives with it. So
Yeah, a lot of... And then she was like, just keep putting more olives.
yeah, I like every sip I had an olive in my mouth. I would drink it again if you made it. I don't think I would pay money for it.
All right, well, there we go. Question answered.
Check.
Um,
Check the reel for my live reaction.
So let's get into it then, Colleen.
Loch.
I can't wait to hear what you learned.
This is all about the Loch Ness Monster.
Okay.
So I'll give my personal background before I read my intro. Erin, my sister.
She's one of our most vocal supporters.
Yeah, she's one of our number 1 fans.
Mhm.
Erin and I went to Scotland for 10 days, and half our trip spent in the Highlands and in Inverness, which is the city of the Highlands, where it connects to River Ness, which connects to Loch Ness.
Okay, I like how you say it.
And you have to say it Loch.
Okay.
And like when we were on the boat tour, I feel like this guy needed to cough the whole time.
Oh, because he was like,
Loch Ness.
Is Inverness where Outlander is?
The first episode and parts of season 1 are in Inverness.
That's
so
where she crosses through the rocks.
Yeah, and actually we went to the stones that inspired her. The stones in the show are fake, but we went to one of the stones that inspired the author.
Did you take a picture?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, they were actually really cool. Those stones were prehistoric, so that was kind of sick. That might be another conspiracy. So I'm really trying to do a Scottish accent.
You sound so good.
Yeah, but the entire trip, besides the boat tour guy, we only talked to British people. So, for nearly a century, stories of a massive elusive creature lurking in the deep, dark waters of Scotland's Loch Ness have fascinated believers, skeptics, and adventurers alike. From grainy photographs to a sonar scan, the monster, affectionately known as Nessie, not to confuse you with Bella Swan and Edward Cullen's daughter, Nessie.
Thank you for that.
Has become a cultural icon. #diva. Is it possible that Nessie could be be a living relic from the age of the dinosaurs? Are we merely fascinated with the unknown? Whether you're a firm believer, a curious skeptic, or just here for the mystery, join us as we take a journey into the misty Highlands to uncover the truth of or the myth behind the Loch Ness Monster.
That was great. We're having our annual murder mystery party this weekend, and I feel
Oh, I'm
like
so excited.
I feel like you're just getting your thespian skills
Yes.
warmed up. But,
This weekend I'll be a hippie,
mhm,
and my name is going to be Jay,
mhm.
and I'm married. I'm
To
married.
Kate.
Yeah, to Kate. Okay, so this is all about Loch Ness, also known as Loch Ness, Nessie. Um, Loch Ness means lake Ness, so Loch means lake. I also learned that there's a place called Loch Lochy, which is Lake Lakey,
Oh.
which I really wanted to go to that one too. This is the conspiracy behind the large, long-necked, with multiple humps, dinosaur-like monster.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading through all of the sightings. There are just hundreds of sightings. So I picked the more famous ones with the more interesting background.
Okay.
But the origin of the monster started all the way back in the 7th century AD.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a religious story. It comes from the story or biography called Life of Saint Columba, who was an Irish monk staying on the land of the Picts, which is along the river of Loch Ness, or River Ness. River Ness flows into Loch Ness. And he was with his companions when he encountered a burial ceremony along River Ness of a man locals claimed was attacked by, quote, the water beast, end
Ooh.
quote. In response to hearing of this man's death, St. Columba sent a disciple whose name I cannot pronounce, so we're just going to call him the disciple, to swim across the river. So he essentially was like, okay, sacrifice yourself and swim. And so the man went into the water and swam across the river when the beast approached and tried to pull him under the water. As the beast attacked the man, St. Columba made the sign of the cross and said, "Go no further. Do not touch the man. Go back at once." And the monster released him and disappeared.
Are there eels in the
I'm so glad you
Nuggets?
mentioned that.
Or
I will.
octopi?
I do have a section where I'm going to talk about other possible animals this monster could be, and eels is number one.
Okay.
So
Are there any octopuses in this area? Probably not, right?
I don't know if I can confirm nor deny, but it is
Pretty-
fresh water. Loch Ness, actually, what we learned on the boat tour has its own temperature regulation.
Ooh.
So it has, I cannot remember the exact temperature, but it stays the same temperature all year round because of how deep it is. And another fun fact that I learned is that if Loch Ness was empty, it would take every source of water in the entire UK to refill it because of how much water it
It
takes.
sounds like it's probably as impressive as Lake Baikal.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you are right. I guess we're talking about a lake here. It's freshwater, so I would guess octopus
But
would not be living
it's
there.
fresh water, but I think it has along the river. It's brackish, like it does have
But
resources.
Octopuses, octopi,
I don't believe live there.
are saltwater creatures. Yeah. Okay.
I do think now it has access to the ocean because of canals, but at this point it was a lake without
Gotcha.
canals.
Okay, so he was not grabbed by an octopus with 8 legs.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Or
How about
sorry.
a dolphin?
Oh, there was an option to go swimming with the dolphins in Scotland.
In Loch Ness?
No, along the coast.
Certainly there's no dolphins.
But
there.
I was shocked to see that you could do that in Scotland.
Yeah, I wouldn't think.
They're a different breed of dolphins, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't picture that as my dolphin. I'm just thinking of all of the animals we've talked about that could potentially grab you, but it's
Yeah,
really eel's probably the only one.
and that's kind of where my theory goes.
All right, we'll get to that. Keep going.
Some historians have researched the story of Saint Columba, and they hypothesized that he had been pulling inspiration from like myths of kelpies. And also, it was a very popular theme in that era to use water beasts and water monsters as like a way to teach lessons about religion and stuff like that. So a lot of historians agree that this is not a real story and just inspired by.
So we were talking to Kate on our way here, and she was like, "Well, let me tell you what my theory is. My theory is that there's this interdimensional portal, and when I looked this up, it goes back to what you're saying.
Oh yeah.
So her theory is that the reason that the Loch Ness monster seems to be so hard to find is because it's like slipping in and out of our world through this interdimensional portal, which is located in the loch. Sometimes people connect this to like, oh, it's like UFO related, or there's like some paranormal activity. And again, the Loch Ness is just like this window between dimensions, this like thin spot.
Oh, I could believe it.
But I guess this also sort of comes from the fact that there is all this Celtic folklore that I think you're talking about that makes water like a mystical place.
Yeah.
People associate water with mysticism. And so that can be like the link between the human world and like the unnatural world. And so again, it sounds like this theory about this interdimensional portal might have something to do with like the USOs we keep talking about.
Yeah.
Around water, but it also might have something to do with all of this folklore that you're talking about, like the Kelpies, which are like shape-shifting water spirits that apparently live in water, and so maybe they're coming in and out through these dimensions.
Yeah. Oh,
also, are we shocked that that's what Kate's theory is?
No, and I actually, you know what, Loki, I can believe it.
Every time you say low key, I'm like, Loki?
Loki? It always goes back to Marvel. Honestly, like when you're there on the lake and like driving around it, it really does feel magical.
Yeah.
Like the mountains just surround you. The air has a different smell. Like it's just, I don't know. I could believe it's magical, Loki.
Jealous.
Yeah. I'm like, the water's just so dark. Okay, so that was the first original story of the monster.
Okay.
And then I kind of have it break it down into like the 1800s and the 1900s. The next like more popular story comes in the 1870s when somebody by the name of D. Mackenzie of Balnain,
the Mackenzie clan.
He allegedly witnessed Nessie in 1871, but he did not publish his story till 1930s, which is when all the other more popular sightings also occurred. So it just makes me think, like, did he actually see the monster, or is he just like going along with the trend, going along with the fad, if you will? There was a sighting by Mackenzie MacDonald, who described a salamander-like beast that was 50 meters long and seen from off the coast.
Well, now we know a meter is pretty close to a yard. Thanks for that, Kate.
So the next major story came from Aldi McKay. In 1933. This was published in the Inverness Courier, which was a local newspaper, about the large whale-like beast. And they said, the creature disported itself, rolling and plunging for fully a minute, its body resembling that of a whale, and the water cascading and churning like a simmery cauldron. Soon, however, it disappeared in a boiling mass of foam. Both onlookers confessed that there was something uncanny about the whole thing, for they realized that here was no ordinary denizen of the depths, because apart from its enormous size, the beast, in taking the final plunge, sent waves that were big enough to have been caused by a passing steamer. So just like a big old monster.
Yeah.
Like a big old thing.
Creepy.
George Spicer in 1933 also took note of seeing a large body with a wavy long neck, no limbs. He described it as similar to a dragon or prehistoric animal that I have ever seen in my life, and having a long neck which moved up and down in the manner of a scenic railway. It had an animal in its mouth and a body that was fairly big with a high back, but if there were any feet, they must have been web kind, and as for a tail, I cannot say, as it moved so rapidly. When we got to the spot, it had disappeared into the loch. So, like a serpent-like creature
Okay.
that eats animals. That's
Okay.
what I'm hearing. Carnivore.
Well, I mean, I always thought when you see the picture, it's like a brontosaurus.
I always saw dinosaur too when I saw it. I'm like, oh, easy clap, a dinosaur. The first image made famous was also from 1933 in November of 1933 by Hugh Gray. But the most famous image, the one that you look up, that grainy black and white one, is called the surgeon's photograph. Have you heard of this one?
I mean, I know what picture you're talking about.
So
The
this
surgeon's photograph?
So this photograph, I think it's coined that because it was a picture by Robert Kenneth Wilson, who is a gynecologist, which made me laugh. I'm like, the gynecologist is finding monsters in the loch, something about that. He was a London gyno, and he is coined for having taken the most famous picture of the Loch Ness, which I just said. However,
You gonna debunk it?
yeah, after a couple years, I think it was in the 90s, they completely debunked his photograph. Scientists took apart the image piece by piece and noted that it looked like they had like layered negative. And if you look at the original print of the picture, you can see like a rope or something that is pulling the monster. And also the way the water pattern is in the picture makes it look like, according to the scientists, that it's shallow water, not in the middle of the loch, which he claimed it was.
Okay.
And so he ended up admitting to it. The whole thing is a hoax. He had a monster figurine made that him and his friends dunked in the water and snapped a picture.
How embarrassing.
I know, and that's like the most famous picture. Apparently he was a prankster. And so he just committed to the bit.
Okay.
So, I mean, as I learned more and more of the sightings, the more I'm like,
And when you were on your boat, you didn't see anything?
So when we were on the boat, so the boat tour started in the River Ness, and then we sailed through the river. It was it was like less than an hour. Like the loch is huge, but there's like nothing on it. We sailed through the river and then did a tour of the loch. So there's a section where you leave the river and enter the loch, and it has like a giant tree stump coming out of it. Now this tree stump is clearly not old enough to have, maybe the 1800s, but like not old enough to be 780, but it does look like a monster neck. So like I could give you that. And then when we were on the boat tour itself, the tour guide was like, yeah, even last week somebody claimed they saw the monster. So like it's still.
But didn't you also say that all the locals were like,
Oh yeah, we did a bus tour, and the tour guide, who was British, I loved him though, was like, it's been hundreds to thousands of years since this monster was first seen, and we've never captured it. So like he was like, we would have caught it by now.
he sounded a little country when he said that, huh?
Yeah, he was British actually.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Being in Scotland actually made me a disbeliever because they're all like, and it's also a huge tourist
Trap, yeah. I mean,
trap.
you did a boat tour.
Yeah, well, the boat tour was a historical boat tour, but they just talked about Nessie.
You said there was a Nessie hunting.
There was a Nessie hunt. It was called the Nessie Hunter. He was sold out. Couldn't get him, but
So instead you had to go learn about history.
Yeah, instead we did a historical tour. It was called the Jacobite Cruise.
Oh.
Which I learned all about the Jacobites. Do you know about the Jacobites?
Yeah, because I watched
Outlander. Yeah, I had no idea about Scotland's history, actually. This was a very educating trip.
Our listeners are like, thank God they're getting some history lessons.
Well, like I told Aaron, I was like, we're going to Scotland. There's mostly historical things to see. Because we've been on family vacations where we do historical things, and sometimes that's boring. I find it interesting, but my other cousins sometimes find it boring. So I warned her. I was like, we are touring historical thing, because we literally toured the battlefield of the Culloden battle. Culloden. I think it's Culloden, though. I think that's how they say it. But that's where the clans all died, pretty much. And that was the end of the clan. So I learned a lot. Okay, but what are the other possible options?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay. Number 1, eels. The European eel is proven to live in the loch.
The European eel. We've talked a lot about them.
So, fact, they live in the loch. To this day, they can be
How
found
big
there.
did we say they could get?
Not very big.
Not
But what if it's just a really big one?
big enough to pull someone underwater.
Probably not.
Okay.
Also, eels move the way snakes do, side to side.
Not up and
And
down.
they claim Nessie moves up and down.
Mhm.
So, but I'm still thinking eels, and I'm thinking alien
Yeah.
eels, portals.
Yeah.
I'm like hands down probably an eel. The other option,
You're like, I don't believe, but if I do believe,
but if I do believe,
it's an eel.
it's an eel. Yeah. The other option made me laugh. People truly believe it was an elephant.
An elephant living in the Loch Ness.
So apparently there was a lot of traveling circuses in the 1900s, and they claim that the circuses were letting the elephants drink and bathe in the loch. And so like they claim Nessie had like a long trunk-like neck. So somebody was like, what if that was an elephant in the water?
I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but did you know that elephants are exceptional swimmers?
Yes.
And they snorkel. They use their trunk as a snorkel.
Yeah. So I'm like, wait, that's kind of
Wait.
insane.
But they can't be living in the water.
No, but like all it takes is one person to see it.
Oh, you think that they were letting the elephant swim, someone saw it, and everyone's like, that's the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah. Like I think we had the known Celtic myth
Mhm.
stories, and then somebody saw an elephant in the water.
Okay.
That's one option.
Yeah, I mean, it does sound like there were probably these fairy tales, and then, yeah, maybe someone saw an eel one time, maybe someone
Yeah.
saw an elephant one time,
I
maybe
mean,
someone saw a tree stump one time, and they're all just making it fit into the story they've heard.
and when you're there, it's like you want to find it.
Mm.
So it's like you will look for what you want, right? So, another option was called the Greenland shark, which I looked it up. Well, you can look it up on your computer screen. It looks like a fish.
Oh, this is just like when we were talking about Lake Baikal and
Yeah.
all these like potential theories, and I was like, how is this
How could
fish supposed to be mistaken for
anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way. That looks like a literal fish,
Mhm.
and they're kind of small. So I was like, no. Another more likely option is a really big wave.
I mean, I'm sorry. I guess looking at the Greenland shark, though,
Maybe I didn't look at enough pictures.
I mean, it looks like a fish. It looks not exciting.
It doesn't have a neck,
It is 21 feet long,
but it doesn't have a neck.
and it does weigh over 1,000 kilos. So I guess I'm thinking like, okay, if you're just seeing something long in the water,
Oh, I'll give you that.
20
But like,
feet.
yeah,
But yes, but up close, I mean, it looks like a fish.
I like the water is dark.
Mhm.
Also, the water is brown,
Mm.
not clear. There's some type of mineral in the water that makes the water brown. It's perfectly fine to drink, but like it's murky.
Were you drinking the brown water?
Yeah. If you drink the tap water, it was brown. But it's perfectly fine to drink. So I could see how it would be hard to identify things in the water. The other option is that the monster could have just been water. So because of the location of the loch in between mountains, there gets to be like gusts of wind, and they will experience what's called standing waves. So it's like when the wave comes up in curves. And so people theorize that from a distance, you can see a standing wave and it looks like a curved neck.
That feels like a stretch. But then I'm also thinking about sometimes when you're looking out at the ocean, you're
Yeah,
like, that
like
dolphin, or was that just
a wave.
Yeah.
Like, and what if it was evening time?
Mhm.
Also, it rains all the time in Scotland. So I'm thinking like rainy weather, wind,
You said it's very misty.
very misty. So,
Yep.
also, you know what I just realized as I'm thinking about this? How long have we been wearing glasses for? Like humans? Because, like, what about people who had poor vision?
Yeah, but maybe people didn't have as bad vision then because we didn't have like
Phones.
screens.
Yeah.
I don't know. When we talked about USOs and we
Right.
talked about Columbus sighting
Right.
aliens, and then we talked about mermaids too, I think it's kind of a similar thing. We were like,
Yeah.
how much of this is people? Can you imagine being on a body of water at night? It's not like now where
Pitch
light,
black.
just pitch black.
Pitch
You're
black.
on a boat. On top of that, if you're like dehydrated or anything, and then you just see something, and yeah, so we have poor vision. It's dark. You've
And
probably been awake.
yeah,
and
you're
fatigued
scared.
and malnourished, and you could see something and make that anything.
Yeah. And I'm gullible.
We know.
I mean, I was out there. I was literally looking. Like,
It's like we say, if Colleen doesn't believe it, it's
it's
not real.
You didn't try hard enough. Yeah. I wanted to believe, like, I wanted to find it. I wanted to believe it. But, like, the more you hear about the stories, I'm like, every sighting just sounds like somebody trying too hard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just stopped believing. Like,
Well, end of innocence.
yeah. But I mean, like, but then I say this and then watch, like, tomorrow they find it.
Like you said, if they haven't found it for thousands of years.
That's the other part of it. I mean, well, so also when I was reading the early sightings compared to like the more modern day sightings, a part of me thinks it was real and it did exist, but prior to the internet, somebody killed it. You know what I mean?
Or like if it was some sort of like, or maybe it's something that, went extinct. It was some kind of rare
Yeah.
creature. Again, going back to Lake Baikal, they have all these animals like only survive in that
One
lake.
area.
So
Yeah.
what if they had these creatures, but maybe there were only two of them,
And then
they went
yeah.
extinct, and so now people now, like you said, are just
Well,
trying to fit into the story.
and it could, so I will say in the Highlands, like it is very much, I mean, there is tourism, but it still feels natural. There's single lane roads, very, the environment feels as little unchanged as could be.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, it could maybe be hiding
Okay.
still.
All right. So final verdict, you are still completely undecided.
I guess, yeah.
I am going to say no.
You
I
don't
don't
believe in her at
believe-
all. You don't even believe she existed at one point.
Probably not.
I
I think you've just explained there's so many things that people could mistake. And I think
yeah.
it was like a folklore and then people just kind of went with it. And I'm sure if Kate were here, she would be saying it's the aliens
It's the portal.
and they're going through the portals, and she would go on to some rant about the time-space continuum and the different
Levels.
timelines
Yeah.
intersect and whatever. So,
But it was pretty, highly recommend visiting,
okay.
whether for the monster or not.
Well, thank you for doing the research. I think we got some good Loch Ness hunting
Loch.
videos for the gram.
Oh yeah, get ready.
And yeah, this was great. Guys, just a reminder, don't forget to check out our Facebook and Instagram pages at 3 Scheme Queens. That's the number 3 Scheme Queens, all one word. We're also on Reddit, same username. If you want to check out our website, go to 3schemequeens.com and you can find links to our social media accounts, our Buzzsprout page, all of our episodes, additional content, and our contact page where you can engage with us and share any updates on the topics that we have discussed. Let us know how we're doing and what you want to hear next. There are also opportunities to financially support us with links to buy us a cup of coffee and links to our merch store. As always, if you choose not to financially support us, we appreciate the follows, the downloads, the listens, the likes. What should the people do?
The people should send this video to 3 people named Mackenzie. I only know one.
Or McDonald?
Or McDonald,
Or,
which is actually Mac.
yeah,
MacDonald, Mackenzie.
I am a descendant of some McDonald's.
Yeah.
They say it's because they changed it.
Mac.
Mac is the,
Yeah.
yeah.
So anybody with the last name Mac.
How about
And then something
anybody
else.
with like a Scottish?
Yeah, any Scottish heritage, send it their way. Scroll on down, like, review, interact, give us a 5-star.
Yeah.
What else?
And that's it. And we're going to see you next Tuesday. Pretty excited for,
Missing
we
children.
have a really interesting mystery next week. So join us next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.
Bye.